Hey folks, welcome to Coffee. It's Coffee this time and Revelation. It's Wednesday, beautiful day here. The wind's blowing quite a lot. Again, please forgive my voice. I'm still recovering from man flu. But we are looking at Revelation chapter 20 and we're going to read verses 7 to 10. When the 1,000 years are over, Satan will be released from his prison and will go out to deceive the nations in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, and to gather them for battle. In number, they are like the sand on the seashore. They marched across the breadth of the earth and surrounded the camp of God's people, the city he loves. But fire came down from heaven and devoured them, and the devil who deceived them was thrown into the lake of burning sulfur, where the beast and the false prophet had been thrown. They'll be tormented day and night forever and ever. Now, what's been spoken of here is the battle, the same battle, the last battle that's referred to in chapter 16, and the war against the Lamb in chapter 17 and chapter 19. And Paul refers to it in 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 8, and then the lawless one will be revealed, whom the Lord Jesus will overthrow with the breath of his mouth and destroy by the splendor of his coming. So this is the ultimate overthrow of Satan. You know, people say, well, why doesn't God deal with evil? Well, this is God dealing with evil. Now, if you like, he's taken his time up to this point because he's saving people. But this is it. And it's an amazing story. The devil has been restrained from deceiving the nations, but now that restraint is removed. You know, there's a sense in which in Romans 1, we hear about our restraints being removed. You know, we're like in Psalm 2, where it says, cast off the bands from us, you know. Religion means to bind, and in a good way, to bind people together, to bind people to God. When we get rid of that, then all the restraints, if you like, are gone. And the devil here has been restrained from deceiving the nations, but now he's set loose. And, you know, I want to just make an observation. I'm not sure that the time that we are living in is particularly the end time, you know, that within a decade or so Christ will return. But I tell you this, it feels more like it than I've ever felt in any time in my life. It does seem as though there's this mass deceit. When I'm just astounded at the wars, disease, and the deceit that seems to be occurring to our national leaders. It really is quite extraordinary. And do listen to the Quantum podcast this week, because we're going to look at some of that. We're going to look at some of the hypocrisy. But here, and again, this is the amazing thing about Revelation. If you know Ezekiel, you'll get a lot of revelation. But this is Ezekiel 38 and 39, Gog and Magog. It's Zechariah 12, it's Zephaniah. This talks about the nations being gathered together, a great number, to go against God. And it talks about them coming against the camp of God's people, the city he loves. Now, that's not referring particularly to Israel. The camp of God's people, the camp is where God is, and his people are Christians here in Sydney, Christians in Brazil, Christians in Russia, Christians in Ukraine, Christians in Scotland and England, and Christians in America and Africa and Japan and Korea and elsewhere. And we are the camp of God's people. And there's this great multitude against us. But look what happens. Fire came down from heaven and devoured them. That's a reminder of the story in 2 Kings, where Elijah, remember the captain of the army was sent, and Elijah called down fire from heaven. Well, that's a reminder of that story. And the ultimate thing is just simply here. The devil who deceived them, notice the deceit being mentioned again, was thrown into the lake of burning sulfur, where the beast and the false prophet had been thrown. They will be tormented day and night forever and ever. I think That's the punishment of the devil. We remember that. But I think also, I want to come back to the deceit. God will deal for evil, and he'll cast it into the lake of fire forever and ever. But I want to come back to this deceit. What's the best way to get rid of the deceit? Not to compromise it, not to go along with the lies. But the best way to get rid of the deceit is to bring the disinfectant of truth, to bring the light in. That's what dispels the darkness. And again, we're left with a very simple question. And I think of this and it burdens me. Everyone in this apartment block where I'm sitting right now, people I meet on the train, my family, friends, they're going to go to heaven to be with the Lord. They're going to be in the Lord's camp, if you like, or they're going to go to hell. And it's just an appalling prospect. That's why God is patient. He's not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to a knowledge of him. And we need to remember that. In this battle against darkness, we need to bring the light of the gospel to those who so desperately need it. God bless you, folks. See you tomorrow. We've got these posts go up on the Ask website, but I've got another one up asking about the Spanish Inquisition. Does that prove that Christianity was enforced by force or was spread by force? Our resident young historian, Jack, has answered that one. It's a really good answer, so I hope you'll have a look at that as well. God bless you, and see you tomorrow. Bye.